Okay, good morning and welcome to HUD News. We're going to be talking about the Section 8 housing crisis and the worst case scenario. We'll also be covering housing discrimination and the pandemic and the effect that it's having currently and what we're likely to go through for 2021. There's also a battle for food stamps in the federal courts and so many other things that are going on, okay? So before I get started, I want to lay down a few ground rules, okay? So, you know, I've had to ban about 20 people from the channel, okay? Look, if you're good church folks, don't mind it. You know, if you believe in God, I think that's great. But I will not have extremeness on my channel when it comes to religion, and also I will not have extremeness of any kind, especially political, okay? So you're welcome to vote for whoever you want. I don't support either side, but if you're going to bring some fringe idea of this stuff and troll my channel, I don't want you here, okay? I will put you out of my channel, okay? So I just want to make sure we're clear on that. Now, moving on from that, the person I'd like to talk about is Ben Carson. He is the head of HUD, and he's been doing an excellent job in a lot of areas as far as what he's allowed to do under this current administration. And lately, he's been fighting, I tell you what, he's been on a warpath around the country for people that are being discriminated against. He's already sued one housing authority because they didn't want older black Americans living there, okay? And then just recently, people weren't allowed to leave their religious materials at the front area, you know, where people leave their business cards and other materials there, you know, for anybody to pick up. And so Mr. Carson's going to go after them for that, okay? Because these are Section 8 owned properties, and everybody should have an equal opportunity to be able to, you know, put out whatever materials they are. Suffice that it's not against the law, okay? So I do think in many respects, the Republican Ben Carson is doing a great job with that, okay? So beyond that, this pandemic, look, Section 8, low-income housing and affordable housing and many other names it goes by, look, the bottom is about to fall out on this. You know, let me explain something to most of you that some of you don't seem to understand, whether you're new or old, okay? The crisis that's going on is you have middle-class people that no longer have a job, okay? And are going to be without a home. This crisis is not about low-income people. Low-income people figured out a long time ago how to get housing, okay? And they live in Section 8, okay? And so these very people that are middle class as of last year were the same folks that would have gone around and said, you know what, the only people that would ever be in Section 8 or HUD housing are crackheads and prostitutes and all these different things. But now they're faced with a new reality. Now they're former middle class, and now they're just no class, low class to no class, okay? No job, and they faced a very real position of, you know, being kicked out of their own homes and out of their apartments, okay? And so I find the irony to be so extreme with that. Now they're scurrying around like rats and roaches and snakes, to get housing, okay? So I'm not saying that everybody that was formerly middle class was one of those people that would make those disparaging comments against low-income people, but I'm just saying that the irony is very killer, okay? And, you know, let's also repeat that same scenario with food stamps, you know? And, you know, this past week I had to put 20 people out of my channel over the food stamp video that I made because, you know, here we go again with what used to be former middle-class people talking about the only people that would ever need to be on food stamps are, you know, crackheads and drug addicts and stuff like that, or just flat out just lazy people. They only just want to do it because they're lazy. And, you know, the real factor is all these new applications flooding the system. Who do you think these people are? Low-income people have always had it, so there's only one other solution to this. It's the same trolls that roll around from video to video and form to form, talking about how everybody's lazy and they could never possibly need food stamps, and now here they are. Beating on the doors of HUD, beating on the door of Section 8, beating on the windows of the food stamp office, begging. But on the cool and on the down low, These people will still continue to troll around under some delusion that they're not actually low income, that they're low class or they're low rent, or So do you really see the irony of this stuff? And so retribution, I guess, is being paid in its own way. Now you get a taste of what it's like to be everybody else, okay? Look, people, Section 8 housing is for more than just people that were formerly homeless or former drug addicts, stuff like that. Sometimes, middle-class people end up not having enough money near retirement and have to have this stuff, okay? Sometimes people need food stamps because there's a fucking pandemic. I mean, do you not get that? Okay? There's a lot of people without jobs. So I'm just going to be crystal clear. I will put your ass out of my channel if you so much as make a sideways comment in my channel, okay? Now, moving on, I've got that out of my system. So, with this pandemic going into next year, look, it doesn't matter who takes this White House. Things have already rolled down the hill, okay? So even if there was a big package delivered, it's still going to be a problem for everybody, So with the food stamp thing, you're looking at 40 million people there, okay? All the new middle-class people that are flooding into the system. And then the housing situation is we didn't have housing to start with. Now we're going to be adding the 20 million new people that were formerly middle class that are now having to bite their own tongue, and sitting in the shadows, not wanting to let anybody know that they're entering this market. And so, I have my concerns about the whole system collapsing. You see what I'm saying? I mean it collapsing, because what it's going to do is it's going to jam up the entire system. So next year, for those of you that have this magical picture of how everything's going to be better, even if we get a new president, I don't think it's necessarily going to be better immediately. Okay, I think the next year is going to be one hell of a ride. And it's this bickering about stimulus checks. Let me tell you something. I'm so sick of hearing that. There are a couple of words I would love to never have to read again in the news. And seeing the word stimulus check is just about to make me gag. Okay, look. They're not going to pass that until the election, okay? It's all politically motivated, and so that's what's going to happen, It doesn't matter if you're Republican or if you're a Democrat. That damn thing's not going to get passed until somebody gets elected this year, reelected or elected, okay? So you can forget about those dreams. Now, what I believe is going to end up happening is, as the economy continues to fail, there will likely be more stimulus flooding in the system, and depending, I guess, on who takes the White House, if you do get Biden, then he's going to have a big responsibility, and we're going to end up in even deeper debt in this country in order to pay for all this stuff, okay? So I think that next year is going to be actually our most difficult year, because we're really having to sweep up a gigantic mess. And if we don't get something to cure this stuff, then God knows how long this is going to go. Okay, look, Europe right now is going through a resurgence that's worse than when it started. The U.S. is already going through a system of things where the numbers are starting to climb to the highest point they've ever been. And here we are right before cold season, okay? So I don't want to be a bearer of bad news, but, you need to face reality, okay? The food stamp battle, look, that's rolled to the federal courts. I don't understand why the current administration would want to chop all this down and require people to have jobs when nobody can get a fucking job during a pandemic. I don't get that, okay? Maybe this was happening before the pandemic, but I don't think so. Anyways, a federal judge ruled that, no, you're not going to do that, okay? Let's just come back down to earth and get with the program. People need this stuff, okay? So the elderly need it, the disabled need it, and even the trolls need it. So hopefully we'll make that stick, and then depending on what happens with this administration, we'll move forward with that, okay? So in other news, I want to tell you that I'm making changes to my website, which is www.hudhousing.weebly.com. Long address. You can find it in the comments section. I'm going to be streamlining it, making it look less like the 1980s and hopefully a little bit better, okay? And the other personal note, I always like to put a little touch of my own personal life in these videos is, I'm almost 250 pounds. I'm a fairly big guy, okay? And so in my fat face, I'm trying to reduce the size of this bowling ball head of mine. And so I'm going to be purchasing a exercise bike from Amazon. I went through renal failure, and So I started with actually a back injury, a very serious one that made me almost bedridden for about a year and a half until that problem got solved. And then I got a 6-month break, started losing weight, and then I went through renal failure, okay, which that ended around February of last year. That cost me around $200,000 in medical bills, okay? So the unfortunate consequences, I should be a 190-pound man. So I can tell you I will be pedaling the wheels off the new device. Well, I shouldn't say it's a device, it's an exercise bike. So hopefully my fat face will get a little thinner when you see me, okay? So look, you know, if you guys have been offended by any of my videos, that means I'm doing my job, okay? And if you're a troll, then I can be a troll back. I enjoy the excitement, and we can get right to business every single time, okay? So look, I hope y'all enjoyed the video, and I've given you something to talk about, something to think about, but the most important thing in America is it's Americans, the people, okay? It's not its politics, it's not so much its religion, it's about the people and making sure that we're all safe, we're all fed, and have a roof over our head, and that's been the only mission and only goal of this channel, is to ensure you people at least have something to have hope about, okay? And so that's why I work so hard behind the scenes to work with hundreds of people, if not thousands, around the country, okay? And the last thing I want to say before closing is I have been contracted by a major developer in California, and I cannot tell you which city. They've contracted me to defeat that particular housing authority, and it will be providing between 200 to 5,000 new Section 8 and also COC housing. I will make y'all fully aware of it after I've completed my mission with this, and I'll be working with this particular developer for about a year, okay? I've also, as you know, worked with another developer in another really big city as well. So it looks like I'm taking out most of California. I'm hitting them city by city, and I'm taking a very biased and a ridiculous system over there, and I'm defeating the hell out of it, okay? And so I'm looking forward to this project, and you guys are going to be the ones that benefit once I can finally tell you which cities. But I can't tell you now because I don't want these housing authorities to try to counter my actions and getting people in housing, okay? So, you know what? Have a wonderful week, and it was a pleasure having you all on my channel. Bye.